Hey y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin-baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/reallife. That's GOBBLE.com/real-life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
Growing your business can mean big-time logistical questions, like how are we going to keep up with all these local deliveries? Let Uber Direct offer you a helping hand. With Uber Direct, you take orders on your website, app, or by phone. Then drivers who are part of Uber's courier network pick them up from your store and deliver them to your customer's doorstep. Sounds simple, right? Uber Direct helps you give your customers what they want when they want it. Offer them delivery options in under 2 hours, on the same day, or scheduled up to 30 days in advance. Plus, share real-time tracking and ETAs by text. You can keep growing your business at a price that works for you. Never pay commission or hidden charges. Just pay a fixed fee per delivery. Delivery just got better with Uber Direct. Learn more at uberdirect.com.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to or during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?
When the wolf is at your door, you running's over, that's for sure. He already knows all about you. Cut you down, no matter by you. Now you better walk the line. Real life, real
Warning, this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that of a sexual nature and should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts I'm retelling you were presented to me by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My descriptions of the crime scenes, what I saw with my own 2 eyes. If you're going to get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And today, I'm going to be doing something a little different. This is a story that's sent in to me by Leah Marie. And thank you, sweetie. You're awesome. I love these off the wall things that you send in. Y'all, I didn't know about this. It's kind of crazy, so just bear with me, and the plot will thicken as it goes along. But I'm going to call this one Woody question. All right. So, y'all, I'm going to tell you about a guy named Charles Harrelson, who ended up being an infamous hitman, if you will. But Charles Boyd Harrelson was born on July the 23rd of 1938. And he was an American contract killer and an organized crime figure who made history when he was convicted of assassinating a federal judge, y'all, whose name was John H. Wood Jr. And he was the first federal judge to be assassinated in the entire 20th century. All right. So, but Charles Boyd Harrelson also, he was a contract killer for this. He also claimed credit for a dozen other contract killings. So he's a pretty bad dude, right? Just wait till you hear the rest. So Charles Harrelson is the father of, guess who? Woody Harrelson and his brother Brett, both who were actors. I don't know what Brett did, but we all know Woody Harrelson, right? Natural Born Killer and all the great movies that he's done since. But his daddy was Charles Harrelson, and he was born in Lovelady, Texas, and he's the son of Alma Lee Sparks and Boyd Harrelson. He was married, and check this out, 4 times. He was married to Nancy Hillman Harrelson, Diane Lou Oswald, Joanne Harrelson, and Gina Adele Foster. And y'all, all of these ladies would come into play in the story. So, what did he say he did for a living? Well, it's way before the internet, y'all. He worked as an encyclopedia salesman in California and a professional gambler. In 1960, he was convicted of dozens of murders which had begun in the 1960s. All right, so Harrelson's son, who we all know, who has my name, my real name is Woodrow Tracy Harrelson, was born on July 23rd of 1961. And he is the actor Woody Harrelson. Now, according to Woody, his father disappeared from the family's home in Houston in 1968. And he just up and split and left his wife, Diane, to raise Woody and his 2 brothers. And Woody just had no idea what happened to his dad, right? Until 1981, then when he was arrested for the murder of the federal judge Wood. And during an interview in November 1988, Woody revealed that he visited his father regularly in federal prison, although he still harbored mixed feelings about him, saying, "My father is one of the most articulate, well-read, charming people I've ever known. Still, I'm just now gauging whether he merits my loyalty or friendship. I look at him as someone who could be a friend more than someone who was a father." Now, as a young boy, Woody didn't have any contact with his dad after he split on the family, y'all. And he learned of his arrest on the radio. So, speaking of the paper, The Guardian, Woody, who was the star of the Natural Born Killers by then, recalled, "I was 11 or 12 when I heard his name mentioned on the car radio. I was in the car waiting for a lady who was picking me up from school, helping my mom. And anyway, I was listening to the radio, and it was talking about Charles V. Harrelson and his trial for murder and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there thinking, there can't be another Charles V. Harrelson. I mean, that's my dad." It was a wild realization. And then the woman got in the car and saw my face and realized something was up. Woody said he returned home in a shock and spoke to his mom about what happened and what he had heard, adding, "You know, I got to give her credit because she never really soured us on him. She didn't talk negative about him. Never, ever. And she could have. He wasn't the greatest husband or father." Now, this is going to trip y'all out, this next part. So in April of 2023, another one of my favorite actors, Matthew McConaughey, claimed that he and Woody Harrelson, who have been longtime friends, could possibly be half-brothers. And he said that Charles Harrelson could also be his dad. And according to McConaughey, his mother claimed to have known Woody's father around that time that she bore McConaughey. And the two actors have actually discussed taking the DNA test, y'all. And look, I'm looking at these two pictures. Holy shit. One of them, it's pictures of them, and I guess they're around, I don't know, 10 to 13. Shit, they look like twins. It's crazy. Now, if that part is true, it's really, really crazy. But let's go back to the dad, Charles Harrelson. Now, he had a lengthy past of killing people, y'all, and just being a general asshole. So a guy named Alan Berg, he wrote a book about his younger brother, David Berg, called Run, Brother, Run, a memoir of a murder in my family, which was about the killing of his older brother, Alan, outside Houston in 1968. And Dave Berg writes about going to see Joel Ethan Cohen's 2000 film, one of my absolute favorites, which is No Country for Old Men. But see, he said, I didn't know that the film featured Woody Harrelson as a supporting role in the as an actor. And anyway, the details of Alan Berg's murder are sketchy. However, Harrelson was tried and convicted for, I'm talking about the dad, was tried and convicted for the murder of Alan Berg. Now, Alan Berg was a carpet salesman working with his father in Houston when he was lured to a bar by a phone call from a mysterious woman who promised him sexual favors. Well, I guess that would get most people to go to the bar, right? Especially at that age. But the evidence suggests he was kidnapped and killed. And the killing may have been a payback against Berg's father, orchestrated by a former employer whom the father had been bad-mouthing recently in the community. And there's also evidence that Alan Berg had significant gambling debts. Well, who really knows, right? So, but Berg goes on and writes, he said he believes the trial of Harrelson was beset by prosecutorial sloppiness and the good old boy Southern injustices. Now, the prosecutor was unprepared when the defense began working to disqualify the testimony of a witness. And meanwhile, the famed defense lawyer, Percy Foreman, brought in a group of witnesses to provide an alibi for Harrelson. David said for decades he was unable to watch movies or television shows featuring Woody Harrelson because of the pain of seeing the son of the man he believes to have been his brother's killer was simply too much to bear. All right, stick with me, the plot thickens. All right. So in 1968, Charles Harrelson, Woody's dad, was arrested 3 times for separate murders in Brazoria and Hidalgo counties. Now, he was acquitted for murdering a carpet firm executive, Alan Berg, and sentenced instead for his part in the shooting and the conviction of the murder of Sam DeGilia Jr., who was a resident of Hearn, Texas. And Harrelson was paid $2,000, y'all, and today in 2024, $2,000 would be equal to $20,000. But Harrelson was paid $2,000 for the murder for hire scheme of DeGilia. Now, DeGilia was a grain dealer and a father of 4, and he was murdered in McAllen, Texas. And I've been there numerous times. His first trial ended with a deadlock jury, and although there was another guy, Pete Scarmardo, who was also tried in the case, and he was found guilty of being an accomplice to the murder and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Well, they come back at Harrelson, right? And he was retried in 1973 for this murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Well, 1973, 15 years. If he did his time, all these other people wouldn't have died. But in 1978, he was released for good behavior. All right. But shortly after Harrelson was paroled in 1978, he and his wife, Joanne, were implicated in another homicide. And on May the 29th, 1979, y'all, that's less than a year after he gets out. That is when the U.S. District Judge, John H. Wood, Jr., was murdered in the parking lot outside of his San Antonio, Texas townhouse. By 1982, when he was convicted of firing the sniper's bullet that killed Woods outside his San Antonio home, Harrelson was convicted of killing Judge Woods after being hired by a guy named Jamil Charga, who was a drug dealer out of El Paso, Texas. And Judge Wood, who's nicknamed Maximum John, due to his reputation for handing down long sentences for drug offenses, was supposed to have Chakar appear in his court on the day of the murder, y'all. It would have been natural that the trial got delayed. But Harrelson, the dad, was apprehended when calls were made to the police saying he was firing guns at imaginary FBI agents while on drugs. Well, check this out. This really happened. So, with the aid of an anonymous tip and a tape recording of a conversation that occurred during a visit from Joe Chakar to his brother Jamil Chakar while in prison, Harrelson was charged with Judge Wood's murder. Now, basically, y'all, the two brothers visited, and they have a recording of the one saying, yeah, we hired Harrelson to do it, right? Harrelson claimed at trial that he did not kill Judge Wood, but merely took credit for it so he could claim a larger payment from Chaggar. Now, Harrelson, this time, was sentenced to 2 life sentences, based largely on Chaggar's conversation with his brother from prison that I told y'all about that they recorded. Both Harrelson and Joe Chaggar were implicated in the murder of the judge, and Chaggar received a 10-year sentence as part of a plea bargain to testify for the prosecution, but he didn't testify against his brother. He testified against Harrelson. Now, in the absence of Joe's testimony, Jamil Chaggar was acquitted of the murder, and Jamil was represented by the former mayor of Las Vegas, who Oscar Goodman, who at that time was a public defender after being the mayor. And in his plea bargain, Jamil admitted to his role in the murder of Judge Wood and to the attempted murder of a U.S. attorney. Harrelson's wife, Joanne, I told y'all about, was sentenced to consecutive terms totaling 25 years on multiple convictions of conspiracy and perjury related to the assassination. So figure it out. Her and Harrelson planned it, and then she lied after they got busted. In 2003, many years later, Chaggar recanted his previous statements, stating that someone other than Harrelson had shot Judge Wood. And that's when Harrelson's son, Woody, then attempted to have his father's conviction overturned in order to secure a new trial, but it didn't work out. And in September of 1980, Harrelson surrendered to police. Now, I'm talking about the dad, going back to before he got convicted of these 2 life sentences. September of 1980, Harrelson surrendered to police after a 6-hour standoff in which he was reportedly high on cocaine. Now, this is him saying this. During that standoff, y'all, 6 hours, and he's ranting and raving, but he also stated during that time that he admitted that he'd killed Judge Wood and President John F. Kennedy. Figure it out, right? And more assassins. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser-cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement. It's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. Nation plots and everything else. And in a television interview after his arrest, Harrelson said, "At the same time I said I killed the judge, I said I had killed Kennedy," which might give you an idea to the state of my mind at the time. He said the statements made during the standoff were in an effort to elongate his life. So Joseph Chigara later testified during Harrelson's trial that Harrelson claimed to have shot Kennedy and drew maps to show where he was hiding during Kennedy's assassination. And you all know about the grassy knoll and all of these different theories that they have. Chigara said that he did not believe Harrelson's claim, and the AP reported that the FBI apparently discounted any involvement by Harrelson in the Kennedy assassination. Well, that's, they were pretty much stuck on Lee Harvey Oswald, right? But according to Jim Marr's 1980 book, Crossfire, Harrelson is believed to be the youngest and the tallest of the three tramps by many conspiracy theorists. Marr states that Harrelson was involved with criminals connected to intelligence agencies and the military, and suggested that he was connected to Jack Ruby through Russell Douglas Matthews, a third party with the links to organized crime, who was known to both Harrelson and Ruby. Lois Gibson a well-known forensic artist, matched photographs of Harrelson to the photographs of the youngest looking of the three tramps. Now, that's fucking crazy, right? What if Woody Harrelson's dad really took part in the assassination of President Kennedy? But in 1982, Harrelson told Dallas TV station KDFW-TV, he said, "You believe that Lee Harvey Oswald killed President Kennedy alone without any aid from a rogue agency of the U.S. government, or at least a portion of that agency? I believe you are very naive if you do." And so, yeah, I'll tell you, the one thing that never changes is the truth. All these years later, he's floating out there that he's still the hitman, right? Which is crazy. All right, let's go to July 4th, 1985. And Harrelson's locked up with a dude named Gary Settle and Michael Rivers, inmates. And they are locked up in the penitentiary, the federal penitentiary in Atlanta, y'all. Remember, he killed a federal judge. And, well, they decided they didn't want to hang around anymore. So they made a rope. I'm guessing out of bed sheets, doesn't say. And they threw it over the wall, and they scaled the wall. But guess what happened? The guard that was on duty that day saw him and fired warning shots, and they were like, fuck it, we give up, right? So after that attempted escape, they moved Charles Harrelson to Colorado federal prison known as the Supermax. And y'all, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the very first new Supermax prisons at that time. I'll tell you how badass this place is. It also held the dude Theodore Kaczynski, the Unabomber, and the guy who's escaped more times than anybody else, the Sinaloa cartel boss, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, right? But, you think Charles Harrelson is doing hard time in the Supermax. Now, the Supermax, there you have no, you can't even see the other prisoners. They keep them on lockdown 23 hours a day. There's no contact. It's the worst of the worst. You got to be a real fucking badass or a real threat to everyone to get sent there. But guess what? Old Charles liked it. He said, despite being alone in his cell for 23 hours a day and only permitted 1 hour of daily exercise, he loved and enjoyed his prison life. In a letter to a friend, Harrelson wrote that he enjoyed his life inside the maximum security facility, writing, "There are not enough hours in a day for my needs. As a matter of fact, the silence is wonderful." In 1997, being a good son that he was, I guess, Woody Harrelson bankrolled an appeal for Charles, which amounted to more than a couple of $1 million in legal fees, y'all. And at the time, Woody said, "I can't attest to whether he's guilty or innocent, but a lot of sources lead me to believe that it wasn't a fair trial." Now, while in prison, Charles became a snitch. And snitches get ditches, but not inside the Supermax because they can't touch them. But he allowed police to record his conversations with an accused killer, and as a reward, he received 5 years probation, which was later expunged from his record. I don't get that one, but he did it. The cops approached him and he did it. But by that time, the Supreme Court refused to review his conviction in 2004. Both the father and the son had long before given up on any bid for his freedom. Charles told the Dallas Morning News, "I'll probably die right here in this facility," which is fine. But in March 15th of 2007, Harrelson was found dead in his cell, having died at the age of 68 from a heart attack. Now, it's not over there, y'all. Let me give you a few little facts to back it up. In Cormac McCarthy's 2005 novel, No Country for Old Men, y'all, which is a movie now. It's fucking excellent. It's set in 1980, and the sheriff states, here a while back in San Antonio, they shot and killed a federal judge who always talking about the murder of Judge John H. Wood by Charles Harrelson I told you about earlier. Now, kind of strange, but Woody Harrelson starred in the 2007 film adaptation of the novel, which premiered 2 months after the death of his father. And that's pretty crazy, right? And look, they've done podcasts on it. There's a 10-episode podcast titled Son of a Hitman, which was released on May 5th, 2020 by Spotify and produced by High Five Content. I don't know them. And journalist Jason Kavanaugh. And if I have the time, next time I go to Wisconsin, I will listen to it. But the podcast focuses on the murder charges and more specifically, did Charles Harrelson really have anything to do with the murder of President John F. Kennedy? Which I don't know, man. I don't know why you would say that. I know he's high on cocaine. He admitted to the killing of the federal judge, but he also say I took part in John F. Kennedy's deal, or not his deal, in his homicide and the assassination. And then later on, he denies it, but then later on, he's found out to have ties to organized crime and stuff like that. So I believe there's probably some truth to it. The fact that Woody, learned of his father, who he was, and about the trial on the radio, crazy. Then he steps up and plays actual roles in the movies and the murders that his father is convicted of. I don't know. And Dad goes to Supermax prison and becomes a snitch, and I don't know. It's just crazy. And then the kicker, and I'm going to follow this up. If any of y'all know about it, let me know. The kicker is I'm going to post these pictures of Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and they're going to blow your mind. If you haven't seen this already, I had never heard of this. In the fact that Matthew's mom admits, "Hey, I knew him," it's possible. I don't know what that's saying. But I would be curious to see that a DNA test gets done. Interesting stuff. So I know that was a short one, y'all. We got some changes coming down for Real Life, Real Crime. Sorry about last week. It was Easter. We're off basically. And then on the Daily Show, something got messed up on studio stuff. Monday's show had been recorded, but it didn't get dropped for some technical reasons. Not within anyone's control, but it was recorded. Real Life, Real Crime Originals next week coming back, and the episode's going to be titled Confidential Informant, and I think I can do it in one part. It's something I've been thinking about, and we're going back to the original episodes and stand by for everything else that's coming. I would go ahead and tell you that we're going to be featured on a episode of Cold Case Files that's coming out. It's sometime this summer. It's already been filmed and everything. And we got some other stuff going too. But I love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. I didn't want to go 2 weeks in a row without dropping anything, any episodes, period. And, unfortunately, podcasts are a business, and you have these outlaying factors, if you will, of agents and advertisers and making it run and all that bullshit. But we're getting everything worked out. In May 1st, it will be a definite game changer. Okay. But I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for liking and listening and sharing. And thank you for standing by us all these years, and wait to see what comes. Okay. So let's see. Go download for free the Real Life, Real Crime Community app from the App Store. That's got forums and games and the merch store and every episode of Real Life Real Crime, not Real Life Real Crime Daily, but Real Life Real Crime. And I answer there first, y'all, every day. And listen, if you have a unsolved murder in your family or someone that you're close to, and I know I've said this before, please email me at woody@realliferealcrime.com, but you've got to send me a bunch of information. I'm going to read it. If I can give you some advice, I'll give you some advice. If I'm going to take the case on, then like we did for Courtney Coco and Mary Pochot and Miss Barbara Blunt, then I've got to have enough information for me to read, and I hate to say get interested, but get interested enough to take it on. So Woody@realliferealcrime.com. Y'all have so many social media pages, and I know a lot of y'all send me questions and comments and stuff through all the different messenger channels, and I don't get to them all because I'm in the app first, and I'm at the Real Life Real Crime friends, fans, and crew page, which is 42-something thousand members in there now. But that one's on Facebook, y'all. That's a private group. If you want to join, just send us a request and we'll get you approved. But, TikTok's May 1st is going to be turned around, and Instagram is lots of things coming. I know y'all been hearing that. Oh, patrons, convicts, and Apple subscribers. Within the next week, you're going to have your next bonus episode. And we're going to do 2 for the month of April. All right. So that vault will be growing, and love and appreciate y'all. Look, thank you for supporting this. And if we owe you something, email Cindy at CYNDI@realliferealcrime.com, and she'll get it straight. But we appreciate y'all for backing us. I hope you enjoy your bonus episodes. And what else? Y'all check out Bloody Angola. We won Best History Podcast in the world this year for the first time on the People's Choice Award. That's a show that's co-hosted by Jim Chapman and myself. And, it's interesting. A lot of great stuff on there. And that's it. I'm going to cut this one short. But LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, nonprofit. They help families every single day. Not only the families of the heroes, which are the people who have signed up to be an organ donor and their organs actually get used, but they help the families that are the recipients of the organs, right? They help them, they save lives every single day. And every single day, so many people are dying, waiting on organs, y'all. And I've got to meet a lot of them. I got to meet the families. Missy Jewel and her son became a hero just a very short time before his death. And then I got to actually, I think it's the kidney that went to the young man. I got to hunt with that guy in Wisconsin. He was alive because of what Missy Jewel's son did. All right, Reese. So y'all go. You don't have to be a lifer from Louisiana to become an organ donor. You can be a lifer from Ireland. Go to lopa.org, fill out the questionnaire. It takes a couple minutes. Become a hero. Chance of it ever being used are slim to none. Save a life. All right. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to and during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?
When the wolf is at your door, your running's over, that's for sure. He already knows all about you. Cut you down on Murder Bayou.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.